We start off with the introduction and talking about what the company statement, the mission statement is. We take the time to give honest quality management and sales services. We help people meet their goals with old-fashioned excellence by maintaining a high level of expertise. And then we go on to say what our vision statement is for the company. We are a growing, successful, independent real estate company striving for excellent service with our focus on improvement through effective communication, education, and technology. We are always open to new ideas and changing times. And then we move on to our company value statement. Now, how many of you in here don't have a company value statement? Okay. Some of you have already heard my spiel, but I think to me this is the foundation of your company, your values, and that it's the most important part of this. Your vision may change, your mission could change, but your values are not going to change. So if you want to hire like people, if you don't know what your values are, if you can't communicate that outwardly to the public, how are you going to know if you're really matching up value for values and getting people that's going to really fit in and work well for you? So our value statement is, this company is committed to providing professional, quality, honest, and ethical, law-abiding service. We treat our customers, clients, vendors, and business associates the same as we would like to be treated. The members of our office consider the following 7 values essential to our workplace. We are a team that is fair, open and honest, professional, respectful, collaborative, risk-taking, caring, and fun. And then we go on in here to describe what each one of those things mean. And under the caring and fun, we give great birthday parties, just outstanding birthday parties. Everybody who has a birthday, their office is decorated, and the decorations get to stay up until they're ready to take them down. We have a cake or a pie, whichever they want, and they get to pick out which one it's going to be. We always, the company always buys them a gift, and the individuals in the office can give each other gifts as well. And so we turn off the phones and put it on the automated system for 20 minutes or a half hour for our birthday party. We always sing happy birthday, got the candles on the cake that they blow out, and they got the presents, and they get a balloon bouquet that day. And we just, and if they're employees, they get the day off. We do the birthday party before their birthday or after. They get to pick the day. So they can, and if they don't want the day off on their birthday, which most of them really like that, they can pick a different day. So, and we have a company retreat once a year where everybody comes, and it's at one of our houses, or we've had it at our office for a large apartment building. Their office inside, they had a little conference room. We've had it there and had it catered. We've picked different locations. But we'll have an all-day retreat, and we'll really work on things that relate to team building and learning about each other. And then we have great Christmas parties. We have a Christmas party every year at somebody's house, and people get to bring their spouse or significant other or a close friend. And then we have an in-office Christmas party where we've picked a name to buy a gift for that person, and it's very intimate and it's very family-like. It's just us. So, we do those kinds of things all year long. We've gone on camping trips. We've gone on bowling parties. We've gone to baseball games and football games. We've gone to plays. One of my biggest things recently, the vice president of our company, for her birthday, I got her tickets to go see Angela Milo. And she was phenomenal. And so it was my gift to her, but then several other people in the office wanted to come too, so everybody bought a ticket. We all went together as a group. And it was just great. So, you can do those kinds of things. And, you can do them as a social event without any discussion of work. Like, work is taboo. Nobody can talk about it. And they are really good team-building things to do. It really brings you together as a group.
When you do that,
15.
When you do that, do you have the spouses come
depends. Depends. Oh, we've gone to concerts too. Rod Stewart. A whole bunch of us went to see Rod Stewart. Yeah. No. No.
So it's, if you want to go.
If you want to go. Yeah. 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 And usually everybody, maybe 1 or 2 people don't go, but usually there's a group of anywhere from 8 to 10 to 12 of us that do go. And it's really great. So, all right, back to the employee handbook under section 1, which is, let me talk about the sections here. This is kind of hard to do when I'm just talking out of this book. But the first section is the introduction. So the first section covers the organizational charts, the company statements, talks about policy changes here when there is a change, how that's going to happen, and the employment relations, where we have independent contractors, we have employees at will, and what our new employee orientation period is and how that works, and then what our behavior and performance standards are. The second part of this book is about the standards of conduct, and this is where we take our 7 values and break them out and describe them. And then we have notice required for absence, attendance standards, confidentiality, conflict of interest. We have our dress and appearance code, use of equipment, ethical standards, harassment, including sexual harassment. And, you know, that's something that I'm not too worried about. But I know from looking at other standard employment books that this is something that you need to have in there. There's some things that are just standard that have to be in here. But it doesn't mean that you can't tailor it to have other things that are unique to your company so that everybody gets an understanding of what your model is and how you operate. Maintenance of work area, outside employment, protecting trade secrets. We have one in here on smoking. We only have 2 people in our office now that smoke. We did have 3. Solicitation policies, telephone use, and disciplinary procedures. You notice I put disciplinary procedures last. I did not want to put that first. The next part of the book is employee safety and health. And I could have put this more towards the end, but I really wanted to put it up front so they knew that that was important to us. So there's some stuff in here about accidents and fire and emergencies and life-threatening illnesses and if you have to return to work and safety rules and all that kind of stuff. And then we have the next section in employee communications, because I think this is really important for them to understand there needs to be means of communications. And so we have examples of our calendars and some discussion about staff meetings, what happens when you make a mistake and there's an error in the office. I think that's important to have an employee handbook. Problem solving, how you go about solving a problem. If there's a complaint, how that procedure is handled. What to do if you have a suggestion. We have a fish tank in our front reception area. It wasn't my idea, but Karen, the agent who just recently bought her own house, about 4 years ago, she came to me and asked if she could have a fish tank in the office. She promised to take care of it, and I said okay. And so all I do is make sure I don't feed the fish, because typically we have now 2 or 3 different people who want to always be feeding, and we've killed a few fish that way, unfortunately. But we have a fish tank, and it's because somebody suggested it and wanted to do it and was willing to take responsibility for it. And I had never thought of it. It wasn't important to me, but I thought it was a good idea. And when people come into the office, especially if they have little kids or something, they always gravitate over to the fish tank and watch the fish, and it's kind of cool. So I'm okay with that. Then there's something in here about union-free employee relations. I'm assuming that this was something that I had to put in here. Then there's a section in here on employment policies. So it covers auto insurance, buying and selling of residents, and this goes back to where they get a break on it, check writing policies, confidential material, deposits, because we have a policy about how much time you have to deposit money, disclosure of employee information. We want to make sure that they know we're not going to give any information out about them. Employee performing maintenance. A few times we've had people who have wanted to work on properties and then charge an owner for it, so we have a policy on that. if a tenant chooses to rent from us, we have a policy if an employee becomes a tenant of ours. Or if someone hires someone who's a relative in the office to do work. We have a policy on that. We disclose that we're an equal opportunity employer and that we have a policy about doing exit interviews. Because I can promise you, when you let somebody go, you learn a lot about things you might not have been aware of or couldn't really hone in on at an exit interview, because they have nothing to lose by then. So they'll tell you a lot of things that they may be brutal facts, but it's good to know about it so you can confront them.
Do you do it face-to-face, or do you have them just write it out?
No, I do it face-to-face. And whenever I let someone go, there's always two people there. You know, years ago, when I worked for a different company before I had my own, I had to let someone go. And I was sitting at my desk in my office, and I think maybe even the door was closed. And so I told him I was going to let him go. And he said, boy, you know, I have to say, you're really a brave lady. You have a really nice way of letting people go, he said, first of all. And secondly, you're really courageous to do it all by yourself. And I thought, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't be doing this all by myself. I'm kind of trapped in here in this office. So ever since then, I've always made sure there was somebody else there to hear what was going on and to help out if needed. Let's see here. Hours of work, time recorded. There's a section in here about immigration. Since we do HOAs, we have policies about inspection letters and how soon they have to get out. There's a part in here about lunch and rest breaks. Move-in funds, because we have a policy they have to be secured. So if the bookkeeping department gets a personal check for move-in funds, it has to go back to the agent. It doesn't get deposited, and they don't get their commission. New tenant setup, we have a checkoff list about that, certain practices in the office. Another section in here on personal records and how those are handled, and privacy policies, and protection of valuables, and resignations, and tenants transferring within around the clock. We have a policy about that. Years back, I remember somebody moved out of one property that one owner had, and it was within the same portfolio, and so an agent took their deposit and transferred it to another property they were going to move into, and I was like, no. So now it's in here. We now have it as a policy. Job descriptions, all the job descriptions are in here. Not in as detailed as the ones that I gave you copies of, but it's still a description of what their responsibilities are. Wage and salary policies are in here, and in the employee benefits and services. And in here we list about holidays and when we're closed, what happens if you're gone, leave of absence without pay or failure to return, about the stock offering, the retirement. There is no retirement plan, but we say there isn't one. Personal leave, unemployment insurance, time off to vote. That's a good one, right? Vacations and workers' compensation. So each one of these areas here are paged like number 1 to 10, for example. And then each section after that starts over again with page 1, that is like section 2. And the reason for that is if we need to go in and change something and update it, we only have to change that one section. We don't have to change the whole thing and renumber all the pages. It works really well that way. And so this employee manual is given to someone when they start working for us. We have a very nice letter that we give them. And we have an acknowledgement that they received it, and that goes in their personal file.